For 7 years, our marriage appeared flawless to those looking in from the outside. I poured long hours into a job that drained me, all to secure a stable life, while she tended to our home and daily rhythms with a seamless elegance that seemed effortless. I believed we were content, true partners in life. Yet gradually subtle shifts began to surface. Tiny fractures appeared, which I dismissed, convincing myself that every relationship has its ebbs and flows. The changes were small at first, almost imperceptible. A private smile at her phone, one that didn't invite me in. A hushed phone call taken in another room, her voice just a touch too soft. At dinner, her presence felt distant, her thoughts elsewhere. She spent more time perfecting her appearance for outings with friends or work events, her focus sharper than it had been in years. I didn't want to doubt her. The idea that the woman I cherished could deceive me felt unbearable. But a quiet instinct, the part of me that always noticed the details, began to stir with unease. Initially, I tried to brush it off. Perhaps she's overwhelmed, I reasoned. Maybe she's restless. Or it's nothing at all. But the nights grew heavier. Every ping of her phone sent a jolt through me. Each unexplained absence gnawed at my peace. Patterns emerged, subtle, yet impossible to ignore. Last-minute cancellations of dinner plans, mysterious charges on our accounts, a sudden guardedness around her phone. The growing mistrust inside me felt toxic. I despised how it warped my view of her, of myself. But the relentless doubt became too much to bear. One silent evening, after she stepped outside to take yet another call, I reached a breaking point. I wasn't proud of my choice, and I loathed the idea of snooping, but I needed the truth, whatever it might be. I purchased a discreet camera, small enough to go unnoticed, and placed it in the living room where she spent her evenings while I was at work. It felt like a betrayal of my own values, a desperate act, but I needed to either confirm or dispel the suspicion that had rooted itself in my heart. That first night, I sat in the dark, laptop glowing, watching the footage. It started innocently, her coming home smiling, moving through the room as if everything was unchanged. I tried to focus on the ordinary, to convince myself I was overreacting. Then he appeared. A stranger, standing too close, leaning in as she whispered and laughed in a way I hadn't seen in years. My heart pounded as their every gesture revealed a closeness I was excluded from. My hands trembled, my chest constricted, and I had to look away, only to return and witness the undeniable reality again. It was worse than I'd feared. Every girl's night, every late work event, every excuse she'd offered now carried a crushing weight. Yet, amid the heartbreak, a strange clarity settled over me. Anger surged, but so did resolve. I'd been passive too long, letting doubt simmer while the truth hid in plain sight. Now I held the evidence, and with it, the power to decide my next move. Over the following week, I reviewed more recordings, each peeling back another layer of her deception. This wasn't a single lapse. It was a hidden life I'd unknowingly lived alongside. With each revelation, I stayed composed, biding my time. My aim wasn't immediate vengeance. It was about reclaiming control, acting on my terms. When I finally confronted her, I did so without raising my voice or shedding tears. I laid out the evidence and waited. Her face drained of color, her eyes searching for an escape, a justification, a plea. But no words could erase what I'd seen. In that moment, I realized the betrayal itself wasn't the hardest part. It was the illusion of the life we'd built together. Yet, I also understood that the choice to walk away, to rebuild, was mine alone. That night, I left quietly. The home we'd shared, the routines we'd crafted, the life I thought I knew, all of it stayed behind. Stepping into the cool night air, I felt a blend of sorrow, relief, and a newfound sense of freedom. I was shattered, but also awakened. The truth had destroyed my illusions, but it also showed me I could take charge, rise above the deceit, and refuse to be defined by betrayal. I didn't rush as I packed. Moving deliberately, almost ritually, I gathered only what I needed, leaving behind anything tied to the lie our life had become. Each step felt surreal, as if I were watching myself shed a skin I no longer recognized. I didn't look back. The house, once my haven, my cage, my illusion, faded into the distance as I walked away. I found a small, quiet hotel to stay in for a few days, a place to think, breathe, and plan without disruption. Sleep was elusive. Every time I closed my eyes, her face flashed before me, smiling at another man as if I were invisible. I didn't shy away from the pain. I needed to feel its full weight to move forward. By morning, a calm determination had settled in. The anger had cooled, replaced by a steely resolve. I didn't crave petty revenge or public humiliation. I wanted to reclaim my life with dignity. I wanted her to see that her lies no longer held power over me. Discreetly, I contacted a lawyer, organizing all the evidence, camera footage, text messages, call logs, every piece meticulously catalogued to ensure I was prepared if confrontation became necessary. The day came when she returned home, expecting the usual routine, perhaps even my forgiveness. Instead, she found me in the living room, the evidence spread out like a calculated move on a chessboard. Panic flickered in her eyes as she sensed the shift. I didn't shout or weep. I met her gaze, steady and unyielding, letting the weight of the moment sink in. "Why?" she whispered, her voice barely audible, as if speaking louder might cement the truth. I let her question hang in the air, studying her as if seeing her anew. "I had to know," I said softly. I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. Her eyes widened, her practiced excuses and half-truths crumbling. She stammered, grasping for words that couldn't erase her guilt. For the first time, she realized she'd lost her advantage.